I honestly kind of decided to apply to MBA school a few months before I reached out to Fortuna. I had taken my GMAT in 2020 and I was like, okay, this is kind of a good year and a good turning point in my career to kind of start looking into MBA school. I think the biggest thing for me was that I hadn't had that many peers going through the MBA application process. And so it did seem kind of daunting just to I guess try to tackle all of that on my own. So I talked to my cousin because she had just gone through the application process and she was actually the one who referred me to Fortuna. And she had worked with Silpa herself specifically. And I just kind of remember her talking about how she had such a good experience. I think that testimonial just combined with the outcome she ultimately got with the schools that she wanted was kind of enough for me to gravitate towards Fortuna. I honestly think working with Silpa made like all of the difference in my application. I think like just in hindsight, coming in, you have test scores and your professional experience and aspects of your personal story. But I think the biggest thing about the MBA application for me that was hard was looking at my own life. These experiences can seem kind of disjointed. From the viewpoint of a school, they're kind of looking for common themes to draw from your experiences and specifically to understand what do you bring to the table. For me, I think the biggest value add that Silpa had was just her ability to take all of these various experiences and not only remember such a granular level of detail about things that I had shared, but also to be able to draw cohesive themes and leadership themes, all these things that, to schools may stand out, but to me, like I may not have been able to see about my own life. I think just being able to have someone who has the ability to do that from a third party perspective just made my MBA story and application just that much more seamless. I have been admitted to Wharton, Sloan, and then Berkeley Haas. Finding out I was admitted to these schools was like such a surreal experience, honestly, especially because these were some of my top choices. I remember just, them coming in at different times when I wasn't expecting it. Like for Wharton, me just like refreshing my email and like seeing that headline. I remember just being in shock and just not even like knowing what to say because I just felt like never in a million years had I expected that that was going to happen. And to have a school that was my top choice become a reality was such an unbelievable experience. But it was so worth it to make it feel like the hard work paid off. I think the biggest thing is had I not worked with Fortuna or worked with Silpa specifically, I definitely see a world where my application was something that maybe I saw was communicating a certain story from my perspective, but from the perspective of Fortuna coaches who have been on these admissions teams and like have read these different applications, the value that I meant to bring to the table would not have been the value that I actually ended up communicating to these schools. Even from the perspective of understanding what different schools are looking for you to highlight, I think making those school specific tweaks is something that having a coach for is so, so valuable.